That, my friends, is a big shoe. Oh.
Ginger Runner.
What's up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another GingerRunner.com review, and not just one, but two. It's a double review day. You are currently watching my review of the Altra Paradigm. Oh. But before we get started with my review of the Altra Paradigm, don't forget that I have another review for the Altra One Squared. Look at that little beast. Go find out how much I like this. All you have to do is click it, or you can stick around for the Altra Paradigm. I'll give you a couple seconds to choose. 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at you. You stuck around for this one. Good job. Okay, the Altra Paradigm obviously is Altra's entrance into the maximalist shoe category. They have a trail version called the Olympus. This is essentially the road version of the Olympus. Definitely a competitor for the Hoka line and other shoes that have a ton of cushion. What helps this shoe stand out from those other shoes is the fact that it is zero drop. All Altra shoes are zero drop, and the wide toe box, which is another one of their major factors. After putting a ton of miles in this shoe, is it a Hoka killer? Is it worth jumping onto the max cushion bandwagon? Stick around and find out. And how am I gonna tell you? By doing a review of it. Let's just start this thing. Here are things that I like about the Altra Paradigm. First, it's cushioned. And I'm not talking a little bit of cushioning, I'm talking over 30 millimeters stack height. This thing is super cushioned, and that EVA cushioning is nice and soft, super plush. It definitely sets you up off the ground a little bit, but you get used to that pretty quickly. It is a comfortable, soft, plush ride. Very similar to a Hoka. If you've already been running in Hokas, you'll understand where this shoe is coming from. Pretty much the same. Major differences are the wide toe box and the zero drop. Durable. I will say that out of all the miles I put on this shoe, it really isn't showing much sign of wear. The outsole pods and some of the EVA midsole material that is exposed to the ground there do show signs of wear, but that's to be expected when you're putting 80, 90, 100 miles in a shoe. So overall, it's holding up pretty damn good. The A-bound material. Now, Altra has been talking about this A-bound material, which is a bit more responsive EVA material that they were putting just above the regular EVA material. You don't really notice it off the bat, but when you start feeling the stroble board and feeling what your foot feels like in that shoe, it definitely gives you some responsiveness. Your foot doesn't sink down into the EVA too much. It actually has a nice solid footbed on top of a cloud of greatness. I will say it's fairly light. At just around 10 and a half ounces, this shoe, for what it is a light contender. It's great for those long hauls, those long days where you're just kind of slogging through the mileage. The weight isn't necessarily a factor. Comparing it to other large maximalist cushion shoes, it definitely is on that lower end of the weight spectrum. And you can tell, just by holding it, you can actually tell. It was a lot lighter than I expected. Thin upper. I actually didn't expect this, but the upper is pretty thin, pretty flexible, and I enjoy that. I like an upper that is more minimal, something not super heavy, something that's gonna wear out really quickly, definitely breathes well. It's actually fairly reminiscent of the materials that were used in early Newtons, but I like it. It is good. And zero drop wide toe box. Definitely something that every Altra shoe has already, but it's something that I love. And it's nice to see a maximalist cushioned shoe that has these qualities. I mean, look at that. You can just see how wide that toe box is. And look, you can just see how zero drop that is. Well, you can't really tell, but it is. Now, it's not all butterflies and rainbows with this shoe. There are a couple of things that I dislike about the Altra Paradigm. Too much upper. Now, this is something I had a problem with the Torin, the Lone Peak 1.5. There's just too much upper material. What ends up happening, when your foot gets in there and you're cinching down on those laces, there's just too much upper material, and you can never feel like you're getting that shoe tight and solid on your foot. I mean, you can already see that there's waves and wrinkles in this particular upper, and even around the ankle area. There's just too much of it. I wish there was a way to reduce the amount of upper material, much more like the One Squared, which I think nails it. Eyelets being too close. This is a problem that I had with the early Torin, and I think that's a problem in this particular shoe. You have all this area up here in the toe box that has no eyelet or any sort of way to cinch it. So what ends up happening is your forefoot feels a bit loose because they have all the eyelets just squished up here. There's 6 on each side. They don't go all the way back to lock in that ankle, and they don't go far enough forward to really lock in the forefoot. I think they just need to space them out a little bit. They don't have to add more, just space them out. Squared off toe box. Now, it might not appear like this toe box is squared off. This was the only Altra that I really felt like the tips of my toes were touching the edge in weird spots because it felt like the shoe was squared off too much inside. I haven't had that issue in other Altras, so I'm just gonna call it a fluke in this pre-production model. And finally, big heel. Tons of EVA going on back here. We have stuff coming up along the side of the heel. The heel counter's really stiff and it goes really far forward. The padding locking in the ankle is super thick, heavy. I just think that there's too much going on this heel. I would like it to be a little bit more minimal, maybe lighten it up a little bit. I think the shoe would be a total hit if that was the case. But that, my friends, is it for dislikes. The Altra Paradigm definitely shines. It's a solid shoe, especially for the max cushion shoe line. A lot of people might be mad at Altra for going this direction, adding more cushioning to their shoes. I, however, am not. I think I had a problem with a lot of the earlier models, the Torn and the Lone Peak, for not having enough cushioning, feeling like dead weights on my feet. But this and the One Squared have changed my perspective on Altras. I'm really liking them. And what I have been finding I've been doing is using the One Squared for races, for lighter runs, and then for the long hauls, been using the Paradigm or recovery runs using this particular shoe. But let's move on to the points. Quality, I gotta give it 3 out of 5. I think there's some issues here with the upper, and it really bugs me. So I had to mark them down a couple of points for that because there are improvements that can still be made. Comfort, kind of torn on this one. I'm gonna actually give them a 4 out of 5, though I wish I could round up, only because I was having some issues with my toes hitting up here in the front, and I could never really get my heel locked in despite the fact that the ankle is so wide and thick. Price, they're about $130. I'm gonna give them a 4 out of 5. I really think $120 is a better price point for this particular shoe. I know it has more materials, more max cushioning, so they wanna ask more money, but I really think that $130 might be just a little too high for this shoe. Looks, I'm gonna give them 4 out of 5. It's borderline 3 out of 5, but I will round up to 4. I don't necessarily like this color stay, but the other color stay in this particular version is better. So I'll round up, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, 4 out of 5. That brings our total to 15 out of 20, a great score for this particular shoe. I find myself throwing this shoe into the rotation. In fact, I had a really difficult time choosing between these two particular shoes for the Big Sur Marathon. I ended up going with the One Squared. Would have been just fine in the Paradigm, I'm sure of it. So don't forget, if you would like to watch my review of the One Squared, all you have to do is click it. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to just click that. If you've already watched this one, you wanna go watch this one. So just go ahead and click it. 3, 2, 1. So that's it. Have you guys run in the Altra Paradigm, or have you run in the Altra Olympus, which is the trail version of the Paradigm? I have a pair, and that review will be coming out soon. I can't wait to compare this to that. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you like this video, like, favorite, and share it. It's the only way people are gonna find out about it. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/thegingerrunner. I'm on all the social networks, over on Twitter, @thegingerrunner, Facebook, facebook.com/thegingerrunner. On Instagram, I'm @EthanNewberry, and of course, gingerrunner.com, the hub for all things great and ginger. I'm doing live shows every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's right here on this YouTube channel. I am going live video streaming with experts in the field of running, marathon, swimming, triathlon, everything. You don't want to miss it. You can interact with them on the spot live. And that is it. I hope you guys are getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next time. Train, race, beer. Goodbye!